Magical attack does happen, and it can happen, but it's something to not be overly fearful of, because that in itself can open you up. It's important to keep a level head about these things, but also to be aware that it can and does happen. And it is true, I think, that the further you develop and practice witchcraft, the chances of magical attack increase. So it's something to be aware of, and it's important to recognize the signs. So what could be the sources of a magical or a psychic attack, if you will? I think there can be varying sources. It can be if you have upset a spirit in some way, whether that was intentional or not, and usually it's unintentional. So always be careful and be reverent when you are approaching or entering a place, a sacred place, such as a graveyard or a cemetery or a place of power, ancient sites, that sort of thing. Vows and pacts and spiritual contracts of any kind, if they are broken, that can really cause problems. So be really mindful before you hastily make a pact or a vow of any kind. Another one is overuse of drugs and or alcohol. This can really open people up to all sorts of nastiness. Another one would be contact with a person, or it could even be an object or a place which carries very negative energies about it. You may find that something will attach onto you. You may be experiencing an unintentional attack from someone in the way of the evil eye, where they harbour ill will or jealousies towards you, but they're not intentionally sending anything your way, but it is coming your way nonetheless. And of course, I suppose other practitioners may indeed send something your way. I think if you are a member of a group or a coven or some other magical group of some kind, these can be fraught with egos and jealousies, and you may encounter some sort of attack from a fellow practitioner. So moving on to, these are just a few, by the way, that I can think of at the moment. Moving on to signs of a magical attack. Often bad dreams or disturbed sleep, a spate of bad luck, constantly catching bugs and viruses, that sort of thing. Feelings of anxiety and just feeling off. Now, of course, all of these can assail us at any time, and they're not necessarily going to be a magical attack. We're just looking at clusters of events coming together. Some of the more serious things to look for as a sudden outbreak of poltergeist activity. Also, one that I have come across personally is creatures appearing in your path, dead creatures appearing in your path, can sometimes be a little pointer. An obvious one, I suppose, is if you have an amulet and it breaks, along with other symptoms, if you like, this is something to really alert you. Again, these are just a few of the things you might experience, and on their own, with nothing else, it's not necessarily anything to worry about. But if you are experiencing one or more of these things, and you have that feeling, as most people, well, maybe not most people, but certainly if you are a practicing witch, you will be aware of when things are a little bit off and you are having these various experiences. I personally have not experienced a full-on magical attack to date, and hopefully I never will. I have experienced what I call repercussions, so I would say that's more of just a mild form of magical attack that is a result of some sort of work or something that I have undertaken. But I do know somebody who has had a quite severe magical attack, and we have worked on that together, and it's a very, very unpleasant thing to experience. And also there's another thing, that if it's left undealt with, it can escalate, and who knows what the end result of that could be. So it's important to nip it in the bud. But what is more important really is prevention is better than cure. So to have your home wards, to have your personal wards, your personal protection, keep yourself protected. If you follow a particular path, then stick to the rules of that path. Make sure that when you work, you are casting a circle or sacred space. Do plenty of purifications and protections around yourself and your home. That's not to say that something won't slip through. It's possible, but at least you've done the best you can to keep unpleasant things away. I think I might do a part 2 for this, because it is quite a deep and important subject. But one of the main things to learn is banishing, because you mustn't evoke without knowing or without being confident in your ability to banish. Blessings to you all.